Alrighty, welcome back to Frickin Scary with Holly and Melorie. We are going to talk about two things today: our favorite scary story and a second personal one. Okay, so today is March. What is today? 7th?
Please don't tell me.
I don't know. I have to. I feel like I have to give the date. Come on, it's in
That's
quarantine.
my computer say 3/7.
Okay, so today's March 7th. Yeah, if you're jumping back on with episode 2, bless you, because I don't know what we even said in the first episode. But we did have a lot of fun.
Watched it.
It's so good. I think it's funny. It's relaxing.
It makes my armpit sweat. That's what it does.
We did. I'm gonna leave that in because we did both sweat bad, and I thought it was hilarious. So, all right, Mallory, do you want to kick us off with your favorite scary story?
Yes, I will start with my favorite scary story. Okay, so I was thinking about this and I was like, man, what is my favorite scary story? And I know of a book that is like filled with scary stories. It's called like Haunted Indiana. And I found it like at a library sale, and I got it for like $1. And it has all these, it's like Haunted Midwest. And it's all these stories from like Indiana and Kansas or whatever the Midwest states are. I don't know. I live in California. I have no idea.
Detached.
Yeah, basically. But they were so good. But then I went to go look for the book. I don't have the book anymore because it's in Hawaii's dump somewhere.
Was it like, from our childhood, like Goosebumps and R.L. Stine?
No, I just found it when I was like in my 20s, and it was so good. And then I couldn't find it because I don't have it. And then I looked on Amazon, and it's like $150 for some odd reason. I don't know. I got it for $1, but you have to like pay so much to buy it. So I was like,
oh my God.
You know what? I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that. So then I was like, man, what is my like most memorable scary story? And then I was watching Netflix or Hulu, and they have this documentary on Alvin Schwartz and his books, those scary stories to tell in the dark. You remember those?
I just bought the DVD.
Movie?
Oh my gosh, I want to run in my house and grab it. Literally, they made a movie now, Scary Stories You Tell in the Dark.
Yeah, with the kid.
Yes,
the kid, and he goes, my bananas.
Oh my God. Yes. I saw that. It was in the $5 bin. I'm like, this is not $5. No respect.
I saw it in theaters with Danielle. It was so corny, but that one line, he's like, my banana.
But you know what? It was meant for kids. And remember, really, the imagery of those books was the best part. Like all the graphics and the front of the book was like, thank you. Okay. Okay. On our next episode, I am going to bring my DVD in. I was not prepared for this. Okay.
No, but you're right, because even in the movie, they did the illustrate. That was the scariest part of these books.
The illustrations were amazing. Who illustrates that, by the way?
His name's Stephen Gammell.
Gosh. Okay, Gammell. Stephen Gammell, if you ever watch our episode, just know we're true fans.
Because Alvin Schwartz is dead. But...
Okay, if you're in heaven, please do not send your spirit to us.
I'm sorry. But these drawings, this guy's in hell because he scared the bejesus out of me.
His illustrations were so creepy,
scary
and liquidy, and
yeah, like everything was dripping and like gooey. It was just weird. But anyways, I saw the document. I saw the documentary, and I was watching it with my husband. He's never read the books, never heard of it. And I was like, what have you been living under a rock?
Neither has Nathaniel. Come on. Yeah.
Oh my God. These were like my childhood nightmare. And I remember it watching that. I was like, that's my most memorable scary story, which is the one with the girl. Let me see if I can find it. Whose face...
Oh, please tell me it's not the one with the spider bite and the babies come out.
No, it's this one.
Oh my gosh. I haven't seen that in 100 years.
So it's the way it's positioned in the book too, that makes it scary, is so you're reading the book. Okay. And then you start this story, which is called The Haunted House, and you're reading it. And it's about like a preacher who went into a haunted house because people were complaining about it, that it's been haunted. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go fix it. I'm going to go and get this thing to come out. So you're thinking, oh, it's going to be all right. You know, the preacher's there. He's got his Bible. Like, what's going to hurt the preacher, right? So you're reading it, and then you turn the page, and you're like, bam,
her face. And if you were
scary ass story,
if you were me, I was reading that in my room at nighttime alone because that's the only time I was allowed to, you know, do what I was doing. So bam, you're in your room in the dark with a damn flashlight.
And it's a scary ass face. And I just remember I was like, that's the one. And I reread it again because I literally, the night that I saw the documentary, I ordered the books, and I got all 3 for like $13. And they came the next day, and I was so excited. They're like up on my shelf.
You are a devoted fan. Like, you are a hardcore fan.
Like horror fan? Oh yeah.
No, like hardcore. Like you're devoted. Like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna get the whole series now.
Oh yeah. There's actually 3 more, but I don't know. I think they're like,
they were good. I want my kids to read them, but they have no interest. So I'm giving my kids up. You know, my kids, well, Danielle has read them and she's seen the movie. Bro and Ben, they probably wouldn't be scared by them, but my stepdaughter, she's gonna have some nightmares with this. I love it. Make her read it. But yeah, so like that's my most memorable. It's just a story. I mean, I would read it out loud, but I think we'd probably get sued. So it's just the preacher goes into the house, and he's sitting by the fire, and so he has his Bible out, and he hears these footsteps start to come up the cellar. And then like the knob starts to turn on the door, and he's like, who is it? And then like the steps go away, and then they come back, and he's like, who is it? Show yourself. And then the girl finally comes out, and she looks like this. And she tells him, like, I was murdered by my fiance, and he wanted to take all my money. And he did, and he buried it in the house. And or he buried it in the house. He buried it, or where is it? Because he couldn't find it. Yeah. But he did murder her, and he buried her in the cellar. And then she goes, look, dig me up and rebury my bones so I could rest, but take the end joint of my pinky finger, put it in the collection plate next week at church. And when he goes to put money in, it'll show you who murdered me. So he does all that. And then the guy goes to put money in the collection plate. The joint gets stuck to his hand. He's freaking out, and he like admits to it and stuff. And then at the very end, the lady tells the preacher where the money's buried, and he uses it for like the church and stuff. Yeah, I remember that actually. Because I think when I was little, I think I was really little when I read it, like probably 8 or 9. Oh, yeah. I think you know, when you read something and you go back and read it as you're older, and you're like, I didn't catch that the first time. Anyway, that's your favorite scary story.
Yeah, and it's mostly because of the picture, because even looking at it now, I'm just like,
the illustrations were great.
Yeah, like she looks crazy. Or if like this guy, like, look at how he looks. Yeah, like he's melting or something, but he's not. It's just,
I feel like we should do some research on the illustrator and see what else he's done. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, though, I like that they strayed away from like folklore retold stories. They were always very original. Like, remember
that's the thing, they are folklore.
But remember the one, I think you'll remember, where the kid steals the gold off the eyelids. They're supposed to keep the eyelids, the dead people.
Oh, yeah, I think that's in the second one.
Yeah, and he steals the gold off, and every time he does, they yell louder and louder and louder. Mm-hmm. That to me is so cool. Like, I would love to see that on the big screen.
I know. They took the very basic stories out of this one, or the other ones. I mean, they took that weird fat lady. I don't know if she's in this one.
Oh yeah. I'm just surprised that what's his name that did Sleepy Hollow hasn't done Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark as a like magical
Tim Burton
magically darkened reimagined version of all of the stories, like in a movie. He would
be really good at it.
You know what I'm saying? Like all interspersed and like somehow connected. Tim Burton, you know what? I'm gonna make an email right now. I'm gonna send a okay. All right. I'll jump into my favorite scary story of all time, which is a little bit of a folklore, but it's one of those ones I heard from my older sisters when I was little, and it stuck with me because it scared the bejesus out of me. So this is the story of the girl who she lives alone and she has a dog. And every night she goes to bed, she puts her hand down because her dog sleeps under her bed. And to make
I don't like this already.
It's so creepy and it's a little gory. It's my favorite. To make herself feel better and to kind of sleep easy, she puts her hand down and the dog licks her hand every night. Okay. So every night this happens. So she goes to bed one night and she puts her hand down and the dog licks her hand and she says, okay, good boy. And she goes to bed. Well, the next morning she wakes up, walks into her bathroom, and the dog, oh my gosh, I hate saying this part. The dog is hanging from the shower head.
Okay, I need to put my feet up because I'm freaking out. My desk is so dark.
And the person, the man who killed the dog, writes in blood on the mirror, people can lick hands too. And that's it. There's no, you don't know what happens. There's no ending to the story. You just leave it there. Scared the bejesus out of me. I'm like 5 of 6 kids. So all of my older brothers and sisters were always telling us scary stories.
Yeah.
And we had at the time a trundle bed with no bed underneath.
Just a big empty space where somebody could hide and lick your hand.
Literally couldn't sleep in the bed for like 2 weeks. And every time my brother Todd would sit down and tell us stories, he would tell us that one. And it just, to me, it's like, it's gruesome, but it could happen. So it's not even supernatural. It's just creepy.
No, it's not. It's just some psycho weirdo who got into your house, which can happen, and licks your hand.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what's wrong with that. First of all, I've heard that story because it's like circling Instagram. Do you follow Graveyard Shift?
No.
On Instagram?
No, I will now.
You need
I will
to.
now. Okay.
And it always puts out like these weird folklore stories or whatever. And I've read that one and I was just like, oh, hell no. Because first of all, her first mistake was putting her hand down off of her bed when she's going to sleep. No. Hands, toes, nothing. That doesn't hang over the bed because that's how the monsters get you.
Correct.
And you need to stay covered.
But also, if you lived alone and you had a dog, and maybe we're just dog people, my dog's going to sleep on the bed with me. Like, I'm not going to tuck my bed. But also, when you say goodnight to your pet, you don't let them lick your hand. You okay, good night, boy. Like, go lay down, go get in your bed. So the fact that she was just nonchalantly putting her hand down every night.
I mean, just for that alone, she deserves to be killed.
That's what Todd used to say. He'd go, well, when you're stupid, you deserve to die. Well, but then the tagline is people can lick hands too. So then, so it's just the creepiness sets in the more you think about, he'd been watching her. He knew her patterns.
You gotta stop.
I know.
I don't have my glasses on. I can't see anything.
I know. And then you think about, here he is. He broke into her home. How long did he wait?
How long was he there?
When did he kill the dog? Because the dog had to have been dead. She had, you have to think about these things logically, which is why it's scarier to me than like a scary movie.
It's because you can think about it.
Where'd you just go?
You can think about it logically. Okay, this is what I'm talking about.
Okay, I'm going to leave this in the episodes. If anybody's watching, Mallory doesn't know how to use it.
I don't. Who clicked it?
All right, I'll edit all that out.
I think you should leave in at least the part where it went away and I was like, hey, this is what happens.
I will. I'm going to spend more time kind of cutting it up, but okay. So technical difficulties. So back to what I was saying. So homeboy. Yeah. Actually, now that you mention it, did we just invite like bad spirits into the, okay.
I'll tell you when I get to my personal thing.
Okay. I'm going to put that behind me. So homeboy, if you didn't catch that part of the story, so he's in this woman's home and he's watching her do this thing with her dog, decides to kill the dog, decides to hang the dog on the shower, which what the heck is that? And then in Blood, the tagline, people can lick hands too. It's like he didn't have to do anything else to literally scare the pants off this woman. She will be traumatized for the rest of her life. And yet we don't even know what happens. That's the end of the story.
No, she died. He's under her bed.
No, Todd refuses. He's like, nope. He's like, you have to imagine what happens. I'm like, I can't imagine. My brain is shut off from the trauma of listening to this when I was 8 years old.
No, he's under her bed. Like, something's under my desk.
Like, how do you come back from that? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, okay, so that's my favorite, and now I've told you now, and it's going to creep you out, and you're going to go tell your kids because
no, every time I read that, like on Instagram, because it's like a shorter one, it's like a 2-sentence story. Somebody turned it into like a 2-sentence story.
I love
those ones are the creepiest. I swear,
I love those. Yeah, because there's no resolve. There's no what happened.
There isn't. It's just all fright.
Okay, so those are our 2 favorite scary stories. We really fumbled through that a lot.
Well, I tell you, I was ill prepared right now, but we're only at 20 minutes. We're fine.
We're good. Okay, so you want to share? We said we wanted to share another personal experience. So do you?
Well, you go first this time. You go first.
So this is. I'll turn the page to something positive. It'll still creep you out because I believe that kids in scary movies are the creepiest of all things.
Oh yeah, demons, Pet Cemetery.
Exactly. Demons, entities. You hold no candle to a wide-eyed, deadpanned kid who you know is like the spawn of Satan, exactly, and who will kill you, despite the fact that he has 1% of your strength.
I know.
There is something about children in that setting that give me the creeps. Okay. That being said, I'm pregnant with my second daughter, or with my
I thought you meant right now. I'm like, thanks for telling me.
No, heavens no. We have literally closed the book on that. Thank the good heavens above. I know. So I am pregnant with Adelaide. Come here, Sophie. My dog's like on the floor right here. She's whining now. Come here, baby.
Make sure she doesn't lick your hand.
Oh, you see the demon? Okay. Thanks for letting me know. So I am in my apartment. I'm home alone. Nathaniel and my oldest were gone. And I'm like 6 or 7 months along. Okay. So like there's not really a whole lot of imagery going on. I think we just sort of found out we were having a girl. And the whole house is quiet. And I'm sitting on the edge of my bed and I'm just folding clothes. Sheer silence. Like one of those times as a mom that you're like, I don't want to hear another toy, TV. Like you just been so overstimulated. So I'm sitting there. And if you look out from my bedroom, there's the doorway and there's a hallway. And you can see halfway, like from the angle I'm sitting, you can see halfway down this hallway. All of a sudden, I hear little footsteps coming from the back part of the hallway. And this little girl, like probably 2-year-old girl in a pair of white underwear with black hair down her back, goes running down the hallway. Yeah.
How is this a positive? Because you just said it was going to be positive. I put my legs down because I trusted you.
It's hard to explain how it was positive, but I'll put it to you this way. I swear on my life it was Adelaide. I swear to you. I don't know how I know.
Adelaide doesn't have black hair.
Yes. Oh, when she was born,
she had dark black hair?
Jet black hair and long. She had a mullet when she was 1 day old. They used to put barrettes in it on her first day when she was born. I'll grab pictures for the sake of the internet.
I guess maybe I didn't really meet her until she was much older anyway. Right. Now that I think about it. Yeah.
Right. No, she got my Italian dark hair and it was very long, very, very early on. And I know it's creepy and I know I present it that way, but it was weird because it happened. So I was like aghast. But then it was like, oh my gosh, no, I think that was our daughter, and we already knew what her name was going to be. And it was so sweet. It was just like a kid, when they're, little kids never want to wear their diapers. They put their underwear on. They just want to run around the house. It was not malicious. It was not negative. I didn't feel like how I did in my last story.
Yeah.
It was like sweet almost. Like she was saying, "Hey, I'm not here yet, but I'm here." And I remember like immediately going, "Oh my gosh, I think that was my kid." Like at some point in her journey had been around me. And when you're pregnant, you feel things differently. You kind of
you have like a weird intuition.
Yeah, and you have like you're sensitive to things. And so, but what the only part that kind of creeped me out was the feet steps before I saw her. Like and then her body. And I was like, "Wait, what? What?" But the long hair, the long dark hair, and her, and Adelie was such a chubby little thing, and she always only wore underwear. She hated clothes. So what's funny is I have a picture of her from behind in just her underwear with her long hair. It was that same like little spirit. So I always say, as much as it's hard to wrap your mind around those experiences, I felt like she was with me. Like I was alone in the house. It was just me and her. So me and her, she was in my belly. And she was like, "Hey, Mom, I'm coming to visit. I'm just running through the house."
You take that so much better than I would have taken it.
Like, I told you, even my positive experiences, you'll be like, "No, we're not doing this."
Yeah, no, because like, I mean, I get it. Like you're like, oh, I like, because I didn't get the feeling that you got because you felt like a different, because you were there.
Yeah.
No, for me, I'm like, get out of my house. Like, no.
Well, that's why I prefaced
it
with mother. Like, normally I would have been like, "What did I just see?" Okay.
But the vibe she gave off was
but
not
the
malicious.
vibe, no, the vibe was just like, "I just want you to know I'm here." That was the vibe. So I was like, why do kids in movies have to be so creepy? Because it was such a sweet moment almost. Like I'm hanging around you because I know I'm coming to you very soon. Was like the feeling.
Oh, and that's sweet.
Yeah. See, now you kind of.
No, I'm being sarcastic.
Creepy. Yeah.
That's still freaking creepy. Sweet.
So creepy.
But creepy as
Sweet, but creepy. And that's actually not the first time or the last time that I saw one of my kids who wasn't born yet. So I'll save that. I'll save that for later. I'm gonna drink my Dr. Pepper.
They're awful. Well, actually, my story's in the same vein. So it's about spirits making themselves look like other things, like other people. So,
okay.
So you know how I told you about how I don't really like to talk. I didn't want to talk about the man because talking about him brings him around more. He's been coming around so much these last 2 weeks. I have seen him pretty much every day. And I've been so busy too at the same time that I'm like, I don't know if it's the bad one or the good one. Oh shoot,
your thing
again. Okay, so like I had said, I don't usually like to talk about the man because he comes around. He's been coming around so much more. I don't know if it's the bad one. The bad one is usually the one that makes himself look like other things because I feel like he's the one that wants to trick me.
Yeah.
So let me give a little backstory. When I used to live in Texas and I would see him, the most that I would see the man was like shadows. Like, remember I was telling you we would see him like in the corner of our eyes, or like Danielle saw him in the doorway and was like, "Who's that man?" Well, there was one time, like the closest up that I had ever seen him was I was standing in my kitchen, and my kitchen had the stove and then it had the microwave above the stove, and I was cooking at the stove, and I could, I always had my phone like up on the stove's little backsplash thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like watching something while I'm cooking, and then I can also see the microwave, and I see somebody walk behind me from the back door behind me, and it's not Anthony. It's like really tall, and I was just like, so
I
like
got chills on the back of my neck.
That was
Okay.
the closest I'd ever seen him. And that was through a reflection. And I couldn't see faces or anything. It was just like a very dark figure. And, but then he started making himself look like people. So one day I was sitting on my couch, and my couch, so like my house had the front door and then a wall. And right there on our wall was the couch. And then right across from the front door was the hallway to go into the rooms. So there was the door, couch, living room, and then the hallway was directly across from the door. And Anthony used to have the same schedule every day because he was military. He'd go to PT at 5:30 in the morning. He'd come home, get dressed, eat, leave about 8:30, go to work, come home 5 o'clock. Like that was his same routine every day. Mm-hmm. So this same day, he leaves at 8:30 to go to work, and I'm in the living room and I'm folding clothes on the couch. So I'm able to see the TV in front of me because I'm always watching TV, obviously. And I'm also able to see the hallway, the entrance to the hallway, which leads to the bedrooms. So I'm folding clothes like this, and maybe about half an hour has passed since he's left. Mm-hmm. And I have my head down, TV on, and I'm not really paying attention to anything. You know, when you're doing chores that are just very like monotonous,
right,
kind of spaced out. So I'm kind of listening to the TV, kind of paying attention to the clothes. And that's when I see Anthony walk out of the hallway through the living room and out the door.
Oh no.
And here's the thing though, like I'm so used to seeing Anthony leave like that it doesn't dawn on me yet.
Right. Like it didn't register. Wait, why would he be walking past me? He already left.
Exactly. Right. So it takes about 3 seconds. And I went, and I was like, oh my God. And I grabbed my phone and like, I call him and I was like, did you come home? Did you just leave the house? And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm at work. Because it had been like half an hour.
Oh my gosh.
And he's at work. And the reason why it was so scary is because Anthony had a certain smell when he would be in his uniform, because you know what the uniform smelled like, very chemically, chemical, and like just the fabric.
Yeah.
It's
kind of like a musty.
Yes, like musty, like been in storage for a while. Not unpleasant, but very distinctive.
Right. Right.
And the way the material sounds when they're walking, the whooshing, the way their boots sound when they're walking, like that all sounded like him, and it moved like him, it walked like him, which is why it didn't register, because it looked and sounded.
Were you alone?
Like my husband. I was.
You were home alone?
No, I had the kids, but the kids were in their rooms.
But I'm saying, was this in Texas?
This was in Killeen, Texas.
Yeah,
Texas. I think Danielle was at school. Maybe Bro was at school. I don't think he was old enough yet, but Danielle was at school, and he was probably like in the room.
So it was just a nonchalant middle of the day, middle of the morning.
Yeah. It just walked past me and out the door.
That just gave me chills so bad on the back of my neck.
So that happened. And then years roll by, and I think this one that I really remember happened after I had already, like, me and Anthony had divorced, and I was at my mom's house, and my mom lived in this very tiny little house, and she had a window right outside her kitchen.
Is that the house I came and saw you?
Yeah, and you were like freaked out by Pepe because he was so old.
Oh, that's right. I hadn't seen him in so long.
You're like, what is that dog, 100?
Yeah, I'm like, how is he still like even? No, but that house was so teeny. Your dad like reconstructed like
all it was a room when they first got it, and he built up around it.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of windows in it because it was meant to be like a place to store firewood. It was
like a storage. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember. Okay. And there was one window
that was over the kitchen sink that he had built there, and that looked out into the huge backyard. Okay.
Yeah.
So my little sister, who lives in Italy, she had come to visit with her husband. When everybody's there, because it was like me, the kids, my mom and dad, my sister, and my brother-in-law, when everybody's there, if we don't have to be, we're not inside the house because it's tiny. Like you're literally cramped.
I remember.
So they were all outside. Giuseppe Samantha. My dad was outside. The kids were in the little like shed room that we shared in the back. I think my mom was in her little room through the living room, like behind me. So let me set this up. The kitchen was attached to the bathroom. You come through the back door, you go through the kitchen and into the bathroom. It's like literally one little room. The bathroom door doesn't have a regular door. It has one of those like slide into the wall doors.
Yeah, like the latchkey doors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of noise opening and closing. It's like,
yeah.
So you know when somebody's going to go poop in that house.
Oh no. Okay.
So I'm standing at the kitchen sink and I was doing dishes and I'm looking out the window and I see my little sister way out in the backyard because you know my dad, he always has a lot of land. It's like an acre and a half. She's out in the backyard with Giuseppe and my dad. I see them out there throwing the balls for the dogs. And I'm washing dishes and stuff. And then I hear the back door open and I see Samantha's figure and I hear her walk behind me and she goes into the restroom. And I don't think anything of it. I think, oh, she came in from the backyard and she's going to the restroom. So I hear the door close and then like I look up to like finish and she's still out in the backyard. Yeah. No. And I was like, and I just went, and I looked towards the bathroom and like the door's open, but I heard it.
But you heard it close.
Yeah. Like, you know, when it sounds one way when it closes, another when it opens. And
it's like such a common thread for you that like when you are not on guard, it's like they're right behind you.
Yeah.
Because you're on guard now with things. Like I know you've had to be more careful, like with your thoughts and things, like since we've been talking. That's the funny part about like me seeing Adelaide in the hallway, you seeing, it's like when your mind turns off because you're just doing this job or washing the dishes or whatever. It's like they know like, oh, she's off guard doing what she's doing.
Let's get her now.
Yeah, let's creep her out now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the worst part is that I'm like, why does it make it look like my family members? And honestly, it feels very threatening. It feels like I can get to you.
That's
like I can trick you.
Yeah, and that's a different, because now you're getting into like the mentality of is it my brain that's exaggerating, or is this thing really changing into a form that looks, you know, like something that's not dangerous to me, but that is. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
not Samantha, it's not Anthony. It just looks like them.
Oh my gosh, that's creepy.
Yeah.
It's so creepy.
So that's the backstory. That's what it's done to me. It's I don't really remember. This happened so much to me that I don't even really remember, but like I don't think it's made itself look like anybody I know before.
Right.
I mean, other than those times, those are the most memorable. But ever since we started talking about it and I've had to think about it, you know, I've been thinking about like, what's another part of the story that like I want to tell of my story, you know?
Right. Okay.
It's made itself known again.
Don't feel bad about that. I mean, I know you do, because I know you and I have talked about how it just kind of gives you anxiety. You know, it's like, oh, okay, now I have to think about it. And I wish it were one of those things where out of sight, out of mind, or like you can do things to really push it to the corner. But the reality is it doesn't always work.
No, so you have no control over it.
No. So I'll tell you what happened. I wasn't going to tell you because it's going to freak you out, but I'll tell you what happened, because after we had our first episode, so I'm in the house. It's like just a random, I think it was like the Wednesday after. And I wasn't thinking anything of it. In fact, I had watched a scary movie. Like I've always felt like when I talk about things, they lose power. But I'm careful too. Like I'm careful to be, I know this sounds weird, but respectful. Like I'm not taunting anything. So I'm in my bathroom, and normally I always have music on, but I had worked on music all day. And so I just got in my shower like a normal person does. But the way our shower is set up right now is there's nowhere for us to hang the shower caddy. Like, you hang it normally on the spout. Our spout is so large, you can't hang anything on it. So our shower caddy is hanging on one end of just the shower curtain. So on that end, there's a gap where the shower curtain doesn't close. So there's maybe a 1.5 gap like this.
Nope, that's a no-go for me.
And listen, trust me, if Nathaniel were on the episode, he would tell you that I already went, okay, that's creeping me out. But here we are. So I do my best to kind of tuck the thing and do all the thing. But I was off guard. I had a great day. I was with my kids. I'm not thinking anything of it. And so I had left it and it was just open. So it's open. Here's the shower, the bottom of the shower caddy. And then from the bottom of the shower caddy to the tub is just open. And I'm standing sideways looking at the curtain. And I had my head like this because I was conditioning my hair. So I was running my fingers through my hair. And I kid you not, a head poked itself in. So here's I have to show everybody. So whoever's listening will know. Here's the shower curtain. Okay. So here's inside the shower on this side. Here's outside the shower. This is what I saw. Like that. And I literally, how in those movies where someone gets scared and they punch?
I do that. Don't scare me. I will sock you in the face. It's not because I want to hurt you. It's natural instinct, fight or flight.
Right. Reflex. I punch the curtain. See, because the first thing your brain thinks is it's a person. The very first thing your brain does never think it's a spirit.
Yeah.
I punch the curtain, shower curtain. The shower curtain goes flying out. No one's there. I literally, I still had conditioner in my hair. I hadn't even washed it. I immediately shut the shower off. I got out. I said, no, I'm done. Nathaniel shows up 5 minutes later. He walks in on me like registering this. And he's like, what's going on in here? He knew something. And I said, I'm not kidding. Somebody poked their head in the shower. And he's like, I knew that darn caddy was going to give you problems because I had said you can't have a gap that people can reach in and touch you. And
Oh, it's my kids. I heard voices. I started freaking out.
So, no, honestly, Sophie is at my door. She's so upset right now. She does not want to be near me.
Who?
Sophie, my dog. She's just sitting at my...
She can feel the vibe, dude.
Okay, I'm hot. Okay, listen. I'm sweating so bad.
My hands are so sweaty.
I'm sweating. It's on my earpiece. So, and I wasn't going to tell you because I figured you were going to be having problems. But I had to tell you.
Shower experience.
I had to tell someone. It's like that scene in 3 Men and a Baby where the kid is standing in the window.
Everyone's like, oh, it's a poster. It's a freaking ghost.
That's a real freaking kid.
Myself.
It's a real freaking kid. Movie. He died in the building. That's what it felt like to me. Hey, but no, not hey. You're creeping me the heck out. And now I had to get out of shower. I had conditioner in my roots and nothing in the box.
You are so exposed in the shower. That's my worst nightmare. That's one of my worst nightmares. Which is because you're so vulnerable. You're naked and you're wet and you're trapped in this little spot. Is somebody getting you in the shower and then also waking up and somebody standing over your bed staring at you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. And I've had one of those. What's crazy is so our bathroom is a 2-piece bathroom. So there's a sink, 2 sinks, and a door. So there's a door to the sinks and a door to the toilet and shower. The floor is so old and crickety because remember, I live in military housing. You can't
open. You do?
Yeah. You can't open a door or walk in the bathroom without me hearing, even with the full blast shower on. So to hear nothing and just see a head pop in, just popped. Hi, I'm just going to come and join you in your shower.
Peekaboo. Yeah.
I had a heart attack. I honestly, Nathaniel's like, what do we need to do? Like exorcism? Like what do I, do I need to bless the house? And I was like,
no, like, I mean, honestly, I would just ignore it. It's what I've been doing lately. It's just ignoring it. Like when because it started making itself look like people from work. Like I've been seeing it at work. Like the other day.
Okay, but do you not ever ask yourself, like, am I doing it to myself? Am I
because
imagining?
Let me tell you. I am the not opening manager, but I run shipment at Old Navy. So I'm there at 4:00 in the morning. Okay. Oh, shout out Old Navy Rialto, 1477. Anyway, so I run shipment there and I'm there at 4:00 in the morning. So I have to let everybody in. I have to set the alarm when we come in. And then like people who are coming in at 5:00, 6:00, I have to go and let them in. People who are leaving before the store opens, I have to let them out because I am the only one that has the alarm. I mean, other managers do, but if I'm the only manager there, I'm the only one that has the alarm. I'm the only one that has like the keys.
Right.
So people leave at certain times and people are still working when people are leaving, and you have to walk through the whole store to get to the front doors to get out. So I'm walking somebody out to let them out, and I see Val, which is one of our just associates, and she's bent over on the floor folding clothes at this cake table. I just see her and I'm like walking by and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I let this person out. It takes less than 10 seconds. I come back and I was like, I need to ask Val if she's taking her break because I have to make sure she takes her break. Come right around the corner. I'm like, Val, did you? And then I'm like,
no.
So I'm not thinking it's anything. I'm thinking, oh, she walked away. I walk to the back to go find her because I need to make sure she's taking her break. And I see her and I'm like, oh, good, you're taking your break. She's like, oh, yeah, I went to break like 20 minutes ago or whatever, 15 minutes ago. And she's like, I'm almost done. And I'm like, so you weren't just on the floor? And she's like, no. And I'm like,
no.
And I'm just like, why is it doing that? Like, why is it doing that?
Right.
Like, it didn't even scare me when it first happened. And then once I figured out what it was, I was just like,
that is so strange. So you feel like the manifestations are just to creep you out or to tell you like I can do this. Yeah, like I can do this. Because that's how I felt in the shower. Like, hey, this just a reminder, like I'm here.
Yeah.
What? Because I don't have a man. I don't have like a thing that's followed me. So when things happen to me, it's very individual. It's very like, this is a one experience and that's a different experience. This was an experience that I was like, did I bring that on because we were sitting here talking? That's how I felt. Because I don't have as many negative experiences as you do. Like I don't have that thing that's sort of always around me. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think basically like I have noticed a little bit of like, maybe it's my paranoia, or maybe it's just that I had let my guard down thinking that our last episode didn't affect me as much as it did. But watching it back, you could see I'm visibly like kind of nervous to tell my story. And I sweat. I kid you not, that green shirt I was wearing, I had like sweat marks.
I don't think I have any right now, do I? Oh yeah, a little bit.
But I did. I remember saying like, oh, okay, the hard part's over. Cause it was so much to tell that story.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a person who's like out there and like trying to be, like those people that do like Long Island medium and stuff like that. I don't believe it. No. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I just believe in these experiences that I have that I just can't explain.
Oh, what are you sneaking up on me? My kid just walks out of the hallway like they own the place.
Your dog is barking.
Let me do the outro. I know. Okay. Let me do the outro then.
All right. So we're signing off?
Yeah, but I'm going to talk about what we're going to talk about next time, which I haven't even told you, but we're going to. Ooh. Okay, so next time on Frickin Scary, we are going to, I think we should do another personal experience if we have any, which I will go into the man being in my car, the times he's been in my car. And then I think we should also talk about the scariest song we've ever heard. A song that either is scary or just kind of rubs you the wrong way. Like when you hear it, you can't listen to it, something like that.
Yes.
Because there is a song that I've heard recently that I'm like, why does this make me feel like I'm going to die?